How I became homeless. This is one of those true-to-life stories that sounds so surreal it's hard to believe. I guess I'm not like my own impressions of what a homeless person would be, and to be honest, I never set out to be homeless. It wasn't exactly on my list of things to do. I had a fabulous life. I went to a great school. I had everything that I could ever want. And then somewhere along the lines, violence began in the household towards me from my partner. I decided suddenly that I wanted to go. I had to get out of the country. I had to just leave. It was simple as that. So I went to the US for about 3 months. And when I got back from the US, I realised when I came back, like 2 days before when I came back, I was on the flight on the way home, and I realised I had absolutely nowhere to go. I was totally and utterly homeless. So I turned up to a place called Homeground, and I remember sitting there at about first thing at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'd been on a flight for about 17 hours straight, and I hadn't slept. And I turned up with my bag. I had to go and put my passport away. And I went, I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. And they looked at me and went, well, let's see what we can find. And that was the start of probably about a good 3 weeks of living literally night by night, day by day. And I went and slept out in my old street. At the end of my old street is the South Yarra Library, and I slept on the steps. And I stayed awake the whole night, although I think I drifted off once or twice, but it was quiet. And when it became sort of early morning, I packed everything up, and across the road was a garden, and there was toilets. And I washed up there, and I picked up my stuff, and I went back to Homeground and waited again and said, have you got anything for me today? To think that people are uneducated who live in this situation or get themselves into this situation is an extremely biased view. I hold a PhD. I finished it last year, and I did it while I was sitting in a student accommodation wondering what the hell to do with my life. But to go back to my house, and it still is my house, I need to work that out with my ex-partner, but to see the house standing there exactly the same, it's like life hasn't changed for them at all. My partner still lives there, and yet my life has fundamentally changed tenfold, and I am so much the wiser for it. And it was just extraordinary to walk into the house and look in the letterbox, and there was a letter for me. It was like, yeah, I really did live here. It wasn't just my imagination. I really did have a great life, and I can do this again.